So here's World War III if Germany won World War II. So maybe it's best the whole world just blows itself up. Now this is actually a converted map for the World War simulator. This is originally the New World Order mod, or TNO. So we have a very strong Germany in the center and then German client states out this way, although I think they're going to function pretty much as independent here. Since Germany has one WW2, that means there is no Soviet Union. The German Empire managed to stretch all the way to the Caspian Sea. We also have Mussolini's dream, a reunited Roman Empire sort of thing. Again, this is going to be chaos because I don't think they're going to be working with Italy anymore. And then finally, the last major Axis power member, the Japanese. They're doing very well and they don't really have to worry too much about China. Well, maybe this Republic of China was Japanese, but not anymore. The Brits have been broken apart, although we do have a united Ireland, and the Western Hemisphere is pretty much the exact same. There are some slight changes, like whatever is happening here in Cuba right now. So the Iberian Union, or Francisco Franco's empire, is going to get a lot of the Atlantic crossing here. Probably going to be some pretty big wars with Canada. Of course, we still have this very interesting meeting between Brazil and Liberia in the southern part of the Atlantic meeting. Of course, there are already wars breaking out here. Of course, all new alliances are going to pop up as well, so it's going to be pretty much anyone's game. The Union of Burma has just been conquered by the Republic of Thailand. Also, there is no united India after the British fell. It's not complete chaos in South Asia, but it's weird. It's weird chaos. We have two German states going at it. The Ukrainian one, and I'm not even trying to pronounce this stuff. It's going to be so bad. We also have some African nations getting into it. Air and Sokoto. Even the Milanian state is here. And there goes Greece, as Turkey's completely conquered that. That's not going to make them too happy. They were actually called the Hellenic state in this world. And Haiti has actually conquered Hispaniola, and they're actually going after Jamaica next. The US is pretty chill. They did annex Greenland away from Denmark. Statistically speaking, the US is actually #1 in terms of territory, because normally in this game, it's Russia and they're far out ahead, but yeah, Russia ain't here right now. Also, Canada is 2, then Brazil and Australia. In terms of gold right now, the richest nation is actually Brazil. And then in third, we have this very thick nation in Siberia right now. There's going to be so many little places to conquer, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep up with what is going on in the Russian lands. All right, the number of alliances that are appearing are... it's just gonna be impossible to keep up. We've got the French state, which I'm assuming is fascist with that name, allied to Ireland here, which is definitely gonna keep the UK in check, or the Kingdom of England, I guess I should say. They're at war with the Netherlands right now. What exactly is Germany gonna do in this situation? Because they're technically surrounded by their friends, or at least it used to be their friends. Well, they're gonna take out Denmark. I guess that's what they're gonna do. The Slovak state is now expanding northward a little bit. You can kind of see the head of the former Chad Empire. They don't really have a face anymore, but this is definitely Chad. I'm rooting for them. They're fighting air right now. What could be more Chad than that? Wait, did Germany start off with Crimea? Did they have this whole time? Let's also not forget about the Republic of Indonesia, who's actually pretty large. They're actually in a war with India right now. They're a bit larger than they are in the other games. We'll see if they can expand into Thailand or maybe even Australia and New Zealand. Italy's getting closer and closer to taking back the Suez Canal. Ooh, look at the Republic of Scotland going after the Kingdom of England. They're really close. There's definitely been a couple wars between the US and Mexico. The Mexicans have even like pushed in, I think, into their territory. I can't even keep up with all these notifications right here. I don't even know what's going on. We'll see who ends up winning it. That's for sure. Brazil is actually fighting 3 wars right now, and they have completely lost. They're going to lose their capital. They're going to lose their, and that, no, they didn't lose their capital. They just died. So the biggest power in all of South America has dropped. There is still Santa Cruz, which I believe is possibly Brazilian, or used to be. Now is Argentina's time to shine, but we'll see. Liberia also has a foothold in this continent. Look at Spain go. Spain is also in a pretty nice situation. I guess I can't call them that. They're the Iberian Union because there's no more Portugal. Ooh, Germany. How did you find yourself? Okay, so Germany actually expanded a little bit here. They are still killing people. They just killed Sweden. They still find themselves in a pretty big war with these 3 nations right here. And the Japanese have now a pretty giant foothold. They did get kicked out a little bit of Korea. Oh, Manchuria is giving them a lot of trouble, but they got a lot of China. They lost North Korea though. A major Indian power has fallen, which means Bhutan is now taking over. The Thunder Dragon Empire rises. Once again, Mexico and the US getting into it. The US has landed in Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula though. This is the alliance map mode. It literally looks like just countries right now. They're pretty much everyone, a lot of people are in alliances, not everyone. The US and Canada is still pretty far ahead as the biggest nations in terms of area. Gold-wise, of course, the richest nation is the Fourth Reich. Wait, can I call this the Fourth Reich? I don't know. I don't know what Reich they are, but they're Reich, and they're continuing to expand. They're doing better and better. If Germany can't win this scenario here, then I don't think they're going to win any scenario, because this is probably as big as they're going to get. They were given a lot of powers here too from the scenario, given a lot of gold, a lot of strength. They also, well, they don't control Madagascar, but this is a German colony, or it was a former German colony. Pretty thick imperial state of Iran. They're also giving Turkey a lot of trouble over here. Ooh, there we go. Now that is a pretty big war. Oh, and they're fighting Finland, once friends, but not anymore. So this revolutionary union has come out of Colombia. Are they communist by any chance? Looking pretty big, although the US obviously does not like that. The US is not a fan of communism in the Americas, that's for sure. There are some powers that are beginning to grow a little bit out of the former Soviet Union territory. There's like Kazakh, SSR, although a lot of that stuff is being eaten as the Germans have taken out even more territory towards the east. I mean, this was pretty much their territory to begin the game too. All the vassals got independence though. Big war for Africa happening. Some of it is like Italian colonies versus German colonies in this continent. Oh man, these US borders looking so ugly. Someone needs to die up here because this is just gross to look at. The French state has collapsed. We pretty much have what happened in WW2 as the Italians have taken a lot of the southern, the Germans protecting the Normandy coast. Even Francisco Franco, I'm assuming that's him here, has taken part of it. Kingdom of England is gone. It is now just shared between the Republic of Scotland and Ireland, and then Germany has gotten a piece over here. They actually have London. Look at this pretty big kingdom of Afghanistan, and they're getting themselves into a war with the Kyrgyzstan Social Republic. Oh, well, they're definitely going down because they're fighting a two-front war. Republic of Thailand has completely unified Southeast Asia. They have a lot of enemies though, one of those being big Japan over here. Interesting how Germany actually has no friends in this scenario. They're just going about it alone. They won WW2 with some homies, but maybe they think they can do WW3 without any. Okay, yeah, these alliances are just a mess. I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's almost like certain regions are completely uniting to form bigger countries, maybe to fight like bigger powers surrounding them. Is Bhutan gonna eliminate Thailand? They're very, very close. I think, oh, they pieced out the last second. Thailand is looking weak right now. Look at how scary Bhutan is. They're actually the 8th largest nation in the world right now. Is Canada gaining territory, or is the US just losing stuff? Because Canada's getting awfully close to passing the US in terms of surface area. And there goes Scotland as, again, the Germans continue to get more and more stuff. They'll probably just take out Ireland next. Now there's a huge Eastern war. Now I can't make too many like jokes about, you know, the Germans getting themselves into a two-front war, because in this scenario they won that two-front war and they won in the East. So the Soviet winter and meat shields, everything that made the Soviets powerful, I can't really joke about because they didn't win. I've got no material for this video and use the same jokes I've been saying since '85. Look at the Bahamas, as they have half of Cuba, all of Hispaniola. They're now moving into Colombian lands. Nicaragua has also pretty much unified Central America. Now the US and Canada are getting into it. They're fighting 3 different fronts along the Alaskan front, obviously the lower 48 front, and then up here with Greenland. Italy's not doing bad either. They are gaining territory in northern Africa. Saudi Arabia is kind of a problem for them. How is this one Madagascar nation? It's not even Madagascar. I think they're actually here. How are they holding back all of these countries? I love how this map has actually walled off the Himalayas. I mean, you really can't attack up there. I don't care what kind of technology you have. The Iberians have managed to make it into Canada. Oh, Canada's dead. So I guess that's the reason why they made it. Ottawa fell, and then they got Newfoundland. So no one is probably going to catch up to the US in terms of territory for a while. Actually, the Germans need to be a little bit worried. They are not as big as they need to be. They did make one friend, but that's not going to help them at all against the Americans. Afghanistan and Bhutan are now getting into it, and it looks like Kabul might be falling soon. Afghanistan doesn't have the greatest economy, so they're probably not going to. Oh, they pieced out the last second. They're not going to be able to hold a very strong military. Bhutan is about to maybe eliminate 2 nations and get twice as large. I mean, Taiwan barely holding on by a thread as well. Indonesia really hasn't been doing much. Maybe that's because they're allied to Thailand. Oh, there's no Philippines here. Mexico has managed to take almost Louisiana territory. Oh, they're pieced out now, or they're at least allied to each other. There's literally a North American alliance going on, and maybe that is because the US wants to, the US wants to maybe take stuff over in Europe. They don't want to worry about the South right now. Italy and the Iberian Union are now getting into it. There is this mountain range that makes it very difficult for the AI to pass through. These guys somehow are still going. I have no idea how they're still going. I thought this said Gib land for a second. There's a Central American Union happening with like modern day Kazakhstan, Iran, Saudi Arabia. There is too many green alliances in the Southern Hemisphere. Literally all of South America is united. Africa's kind of divided. It looks like Iberia is about to go down. It's losing a lot of territory in modern day Morocco. And there goes Thailand. Bhutan is I don't know, are they 5th largest now? No, they're not 5th, but they are 6th. This is ridiculous. The US is so huge. Japan has something to worry about with this huge power growing from Bhutan. They're also not friends. Bhutan, or I guess the Japanese are allied to these Siberian countries. Australia is now fighting. They were fighting 2 different fronts with Indonesia and New Zealand, who are allied. Australia also almost has Madagascar with that one nation falling. Peru is very big and they only have one enemy to worry about. That's Nicaragua, and then, well, eventually it's going to be the US. But they're allied to everyone else down here. Now, this could mean that some of these countries begin to unite. Some of the continents might just straight up unite just to counteract all the power the US is getting. And the Germans have backstabbed their southern friends, both Iberia and Italy. Italy and Iberia have just instantly been taken over. The Germans are tired of playing games. Look at this black Europe. So that means that now there's a little, are they at war right now? No, they're not at war yet. And there goes Japan after Bhutan. Bhutan is about to take over. Wow, with the help of Australia, they're dangerously close to taking over all of Indonesia. New Zealand also might get taken over by this, I think they're British. How did the US get all this? Oh, okay, well, apparently the South Americans aren't too happy about that. Maybe the US is going to be getting, they were at war with Germany at the same time. Germany's trying to eliminate all of their southern neighbors now as they go after Turkey. Afghanistan and Tibet are trying to hold back Bhutan. Bhutan has been having a little bit of trouble though against the Japanese. Tibet is going to be a very difficult place to take over if you don't have one of these guys on your side. Look as Saudi Arabia tries to reform the Umayyad a little bit here. They're stretching into North Africa, and there's now only 2 nations in sub-Saharan Africa, and it might eventually be only 2 nations in general. They have to kick out these northern Africans. All right, there goes the other Brazil. Here goes the US now probably taking over all of the Americas. I guess, are they still cool with Mexico for now? So here's the problem with Germany. They're about to be smashed in the middle of this map without anyone's help, and the US is looking scary. Actually, it looks like the Germans have actually been struggling a little bit here. They've actually hid their capital up this way. They're getting a little bit of help from all the chaos that's happening still in Russia. Well, Afghanistan, it did fall, but unfortunately, it looks like Bhutan is going to be next. Nope, they're going to move their capital back. How many times can they move their capital? That's the question. Look at what Germany is now facing. Everyone is trying to take out Germany right now. If the US get involved, I think they're definitely done. The US did just now start to get involved. However, Germany's not fighting that 2-front war. Germany probably thinks they can handle a 2-front war. Turkey's gone, which means the imperial state of Iran is taking a little bit of that. Oh man, okay, Japan, Imperial Japan, I can already tell is gonna become the big issue over here. Imperial Japan gets bigger and bigger. They might be the only threat to the US depending on who takes over more of this. The US is number 1, but Japan is 2. Wow, they're so far behind. This nation in Siberia is actually 3. The US is focused on taking out now Peru, and we might be seeing the complete collapse of Bhutan. That would have been very cool to see Bhutan win this. I mean, they still have a chance. Japan is so huge right now, and they weren't even that big for most of the game either. Germans are so far doing a pretty good job of keeping the US out of continental Europe. The US has some friends, and these are the big friends that are kind of problems. Oh, and if they get even bigger, that's going to be an issue. The Germans are actually pushing into Greenland just a little bit. They actually have a foothold right here. Australia, who has been pushed a lot further away from Madagascar, is now slowly reapproaching the island. We're actually down to only a few nations left, which means there's pretty much only 5 allied powers right now. Oh, these poor guys are getting wombo comboed by 2 different Okay, Germany is going to probably take that over, or not yet. They are being supported. There's some gold support going on, and now Germany finds itself in a war with the US, or at least they did. Now they're back at war with these guys. There's like a Middle Eastern faction. Oh, the US actually annexed these guys, so there is some annexing happening. I don't know what they were called before, but whatever this was, the US just grabbed all of it. That's probably how they got their foothold in South America too, which means they'll probably eat Chile and Mexico the same exact way. They won't even have to take this stuff over. Bhutan with a little bit of a comeback. Bhutan was actually broken. They were kind of hiding in Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. They've reunited a little bit here though. Oh my goodness, poor Bhutan. They were doing really good, and now they're fighting 3 different fronts. Is Japan allied to be? Okay, maybe Bhutan was just declaring war on everyone. They're getting a little bit too too cocky. Australia and Bhutan are actually allied, which should be good to counteract Japan. Oh no, is Germany finally going down? Germany has lost huge footholds to the US in Iberia and in northern Italy. There's now another war happening, although people are giving money to Germany. That could be Japan. There's a vested interest in people in the East to not have Germany fall, especially not all to the US. Though Germany has been struggling, they've just been saved by annexing some allies out here in former Soviet territory. The US is also pretty distracted with their wars in Africa as well. So they haven't been able to advance their front too much in continental Europe. And now Germany has just annexed Tibet. Germany might be back in this game a little bit. The Germans, just like that, are almost back in second place. If they take out the Japanese, then they definitely have a chance of winning this. It's gonna be very difficult to do though, because they're constantly probably gonna be fighting against the US as well. Or not, if the US is really distracted in the Sahara Desert. The biggest economy also goes to the US as well, with almost 100,000 gold. Oh man, now Germany's losing southern France, parts of Slovenia, also up here in the Nordic lands. The US is actually throwing a lot of gold, and African nations. This is gold going into Japan to help them fight against the Germans. This might come back to bite them though. They might be making Japan a little bit too powerful, because if Germany falls, that's gonna be your next big enemy, USA. Oh man, the Germans, I mean, there are moments where the Germans are literally fighting everyone. This might be it. They're getting dangerously close. Their capital is hidden away somewhere in Norway. The Germans again annexed a friend. Oh my goodness, and look at the Japanese. I didn't even know the Japanese were friends with these guys. The Japanese just annexed 2 huge nations in Africa. Again, a diplomatic alliance. There are now 3 powers. This is, I hate to say it. I'm sorry. I've got to say it. It's 1984, which means Germany's definitely done. Germany's done. It's going to be the US versus Japan throughout the entire world. Actually, the US and Japan are currently allied right now. Whoa, Germany doing another big push. Oh, the United States just, they ran away from that. Oh my goodness, now look at this. It's now Germany and Japan that are teaming up. It's an Axis alliance. What a twist. The US has no friends, and now the Eastern Hemisphere is working together. If they can keep this alliance going, if they can just somehow keep this, then maybe they can come out on top. Oh, okay, what's going on here? The alliances are breaking apart, and then okay, now it's Germany and the US that are allied to each other. It's a constant back and forth, so Japan's getting a little bit too big for the both of them to feel too comfortable here. Now Japan is having to fight 2 different nations at once. I don't know how Germany still survives. I don't even know where their capital is. Oh, I'm assuming, okay, the Japanese are blasting off into German territory. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, so Germany got so small that the US just took them over completely. We're now down to just 2. It is the Japanese versus the USA. Look at these weird footholds they have in like Tibetan lands and Iran. And short of a miracle, the US is about to go down. They've lost all of South America. They're losing the Caribbean. They're losing parts of North America. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. No one to help them out. There's no friends. Their best bet is to hope this peace deal okay, nope, it is not gonna last. And Washington D.C. has officially been conquered. Now they're going to move their capital once, but that's not going to be enough. It's actually a really good, nice hiding spot to put your capital right here behind Chile. And there they go. The Japanese have won our World War III scenario if Germany won World War II. I guess I should have named this what if technically Japan won it too. So World War III, but Japan won World War II, then this would have been completely obvious. So I don't know why I didn't see it before. And big thanks to my patrons. Help, this is the real Drew. I was kidnapped and that's the imposter.
Argentinian
the slow,
grandpa.
depressing Portugal
Schengen,
right
follow
now.
amateur
$40 is a lot.
John,
his best girl,
Fresh,
Robert, the great Ralphie,
the Polish
I
Mexican
kidnapped Drew.
760.
His ransom is 5
Zany
fillet
boy,
of fish,
and
and
why
he's
am I
at
doing this?
308 Negro Arroyo Lane.